RCC students, and welcome to week 9. I hope you all had a wonderful break and welcome back. This week we will wrap up our career writing project. So hopefully you got some feedback from your peer review groups as well as myself. If you did not peer review anyone's career project, please remember to comment on at least 2 of your group members. They will appreciate that feedback. This week, we are going to work on the cross-cultural project. The rough draft of that will be due next week. We will tackle that much like the career project. You'll drop it into your small group, get some feedback on that, and I will also review it. This week's reading moves into informal reports, which includes a proposal. After we wrap up our career writing project and the cross-cultural project, one of your 2 last big assignments will be a proposal. So the reading is going to obviously lead us into that work. So the individual research proposal, I call it individual because your last assignment is a group project. So the assignment, you'll find a course link under week 9. You'll notice there's quite a few documents in that assignment link, and I'll get to that in just a minute. So the assignment sheet, once this opens here, will walk us through a little bit of what this proposal is all about. So obviously, do the reading first, then look at this proposal. So now you're going to panic and say it's only 2 to 3 pages, but you'll see a sample. It's single spaced. So 2 to 3 pages is still quite a bit of content. And then we're going to take a look at some of the reading, which will help. So you're going to create a research proposal in which you identify a problem and offer a possible proposed solution or solutions. You're performing the research to obtain data or information that can be analyzed to consider if there are solutions. So you're going to find, use, cite at least 5 credible professional secondary sources, and they must be listed on the reference page. So this is a proposal. So the language will use future and present tense mostly, and you are identifying a problem. You're showing that the problem exists and why it needs to be solved and why your solution is the most feasible solution. This isn't doing the full report. This is simply proposing a report that we study this, that we look into this, that we're identifying this problem and saying, yes, we need to fix it because of X, Y, and Z. So the template, which is nice and helpful because I'm going to give you a Word document. So use the template, and therefore you don't have to do all this crazy formatting. So it looks like a memo. You do not have to set it up like this, but you certainly can. You're going to introduce the proposal. What is this proposed research? Are you identifying this in business, IT, healthcare, or an area related to your future career? So you are all studying various things and have your background knowledge. So this info is going to summarize and define the main issue for the reader. And since this is tailored toward your career, your future career, you should be well versed in this problem. So what is going on in the realm of HR or business or game design? Is there a longevity of the problem? Is this new? Is it certain to only a particular career field? So you're going to explain that in the introduction. Statement of the problem goes into some initial research looking at what's going on with this problem. So clearly stating what needs to be addressed, what stakeholders are affected, how does it affect those people, what are their demographics, is it the employees, is it the customers, what's going on? Again, you could use the SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you may have come across that for my folks in maybe some business classes. Proposed solution. What are we going to do about this problem? What is a viable solution that could be further researched? So students, you are not going to do enough research at this point to have a lot of solutions. So you can use words like could or may, might, certainly acceptable. And again, this section will vary in length depending on what solutions are being proposed. Scope. What are your potential research questions? If you were to use this proposal and turn it around and use it in, a thesis project or a big report, what do you hope to have answered by research? You don't want to you want specific questions here. So what are the overarching questions that the research will answer? What questions did the student want to ask through your research? You want something like, how is social media being used to market a certain company, instead of, does this company have a Facebook page? Well, that's going to be a yes or no question. It's not going to provide a lot of information. So really have questions that are going to provide some really in-depth examples. Methodology. How are you going to find the answers to those questions? Where are you going to do some research? What type of specific database are you going to look at? Are you going to go into a specific journal in your industry? Are you going to speak to someone in your career or interview someone? Qualifications section, it's a small section, really talking about yourself. Do you have work in this field? What's your personal history with the topic? Have you taken specific coursework? Where did you come about this problem? And what is your working knowledge of this topic? Limitations, another small section. Do you see any obstacles, time limitations, small survey sample, scheduling conflict? If you're trying to interview someone or have a primary source, this again will be a small section. It is not personal limitations. It's limitations of the project. So we're not going to say, oh, I have, 5 classes this semester. It's going to be hard for me to do this. That's not what that section is about. This is looking at concern for the project, obstacles, limitations, that sort of thing. Then obviously a conclusion, wrapping it up. Nice chunky paragraph would work here, and a reference page. I do have a couple different examples. I'm not going to go through all of them. So one is more of a tech example, so talking about some cybersecurity. Another one, this paid maternity leave, is more of an HR-based assignment, and unlimited vacation proposal. That one is also more HR-based. So a couple different options there to look at. So take your time, look through that material. I will obviously be able to field any questions if you have them. It's not due for a few more weeks, but these proposals can potentially feed into the final team project. So keep that in mind. The more comfortable, more confident you feel and have a really solid proposal, you could potentially turn it around and have one of your teams use that proposal for the final project. Doesn't have to be, but just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, everybody, have a super week, and I will talk to you soon.